everyone, Jen Pike here, founder of the Simplicity Project and the Hormone Project. Welcome back to another episode of Cut the BS. And this is talking about something that I'm sure many women would love to just cut out completely, which is PMS. Premenstrual syndrome. This is something that not only do we get a lot of questions about, but just in consultations with women, this is where sometimes like the rage of being so fed up with these signs and symptoms really start to come through. And at the same time, so many women just dismissing it as, oh, this is normal. Like everyone has mood swings. Everyone's family wants to move out the week before they're getting their period. Everyone wants to inhale, a tub of ice cream and eat Doritos and have chocolate. Like, everyone's boobs grow an entire bra size before their period starts. And I'm just like, what? No, this is not something that we want to just normalize and then dismiss and not be supporting our body in any way. So when a question came through from a woman who, was really asking for these solutions and saying, I understand premenstrual syndrome can be part of my monthly cycle, but there's no way that this is normal, me feeling as debilitated as I am by it. And what she was describing were these crazy mood swings and being really honest and open and saying, like, my relationship is in jeopardy at this time of the month because I actually can't help myself. I can't hold back. My cycle, when it does come on, is like so heavy and uncomfortable, and I feel like my PMS is trying to tell me something about that. My cravings are through the roof, so no matter how badly I want to feel healthy and eat healthy for my body, I can't control myself when it comes to salt and sugar and fat. I just like go to town on it, and then I feel horrible about it. My skin is breaking out, my breast hurt me so much, just so many of these issues going on. So I wanted to go through, and I've written down here because I want to do my due diligence and explain them, and I want to make sure I don't miss anything about if you were to come to me as a client with really bad PMS or a girlfriend and we were just sitting here on my couch talking about it, the things that I would share with you in my experience as a woman and a practitioner to try to help. So let's start. So one of the very first things that I would actually do is have a conversation with you and get you to ask yourself, what do you think are some of the most inflammatory or triggering foods or drinks that you're having every day? If you had to really take an honest kind of look, like, does every day start with a latte or something sweetened or a couple of coffees? Do you have orange juice in the morning? What is your morning starting with? And then are you eating a lot of sugar and processed foods and carbohydrates throughout the day? Are you getting any vegetables in? Like, do you get any fiber in? Do you get any protein in? Are you getting any fat in? Are you eating every couple of hours? Are you going really long periods of time without eating? Are you not eating all day because you're too busy and aren't prepared, and then inhaling the kitchen when you're making dinner, and then eating dinner and then continuing to eat up until you go to bed? Those are some of the first things that I'd ask you, because what I have found is that there's a lot to be said in some of those habits that we're doing every day. And that if we can try and redirect our energy and start to cut back on some of those things, a lot of our symptoms start to lift, sometimes by even 50%. Some of them might just go away completely. Things like the headaches that you might be getting, the nausea, the dizziness, these are all rooted in having unstable blood sugar. So if we cut a lot of the processed food, we get you more fiber, we get you more fat and more protein, we're going to help your blood sugar, which is going to reduce those headaches and those kind of types of feelings. Water is the next one. Again, these are like non-sexy tips that I'm giving you, where people think, oh God, I'm so tired of hearing the water tip, it never makes any change. If you're that person, you probably aren't drinking enough of it, or you're not doing it regularly, or you're drinking it out of plastic still and not having it out of glass or stainless steel. Water, I think regardless of, what practitioner you're talking to, whether they're holistic or they're Western medicine based, is going to tell you that water is literally your body's elixir of life. It is what is helping to transport vital nutrients and vitamins throughout your body. It is what is helping to support your lymphatic system. It's what's moving waste and toxicity out of your body. And if you're a woman who has a lot of PMS symptoms, you probably have some gut stuff going on. You're maybe not having regular bowel movements. You're probably dehydrated. And so a lot of this excess waste, hormonal byproducts and waste, chemicals, things that you're coming in contact with, they're staying in your body, they're off-gassing and they're recirculating, which is going to make your PMS be like manageable to, oh my gosh, I can't even handle myself during that period of time. So getting more water in, my goal is a minimum of 2 to 3. 3 would really be that like tipping point of awesomeness in your water intake throughout the day. And if I can give you a tip, try to get at least your first liter in before lunchtime, okay? My next tip would be your fiber and your greens. 2 of the most powerful ways that we can funnel our energy as women for our bodies on a hormonal level to support reduced PMS, and also in terms of actually chelating to, binding to these chemical forms of estrogen in our body that is contributing to estrogen dominant symptoms like fibroids and cysts, heavy periods, increasing breast tenderness, really exacerbated PMS, and also many of our endometrial issues going on with our lining, like if you're getting a lot of clotting and it's like heavy dark bleeding that you're having with your cycles as well too. We need to be eradicating the amount of estrogen in our system from that chemical perspective. So the more fiber that you have, it's helping support that, binding to them and moving them out, getting them out through the bowels. The more greens that you have, our greens contain beautiful nutrients like sulforaphane and brassica, indole 3-carbinol, and DIM, which actually grab a hold. They're like, hey you, chemical estrogen, come with me, filter through the liver, make our way down through the rest of the body, complete the multiple phases of detoxification, and get it out of the system. Poop it out. If you're not pooping, you're not detoxing, and then you're retoxing, and you're contributing to more of these premenstrual symptoms and the aggravation that you're feeling. Fat and protein. Now, I'm not telling you here to go on a ketogenic diet. I am not telling you to not eat carbohydrates. I actually don't believe in that way of living for women, especially the ones I work with hormonal issues. What I am telling you though is you need to be removing a lot of the irritating carbohydrates, the highly processed flours and grains, and those that are higher in sugar. When we're looking at things like the fiber and the greens I talked about, get your root vegetables in, get your sweet potato, get your squash, get those types of things into your body. And then for your fats and your proteins, your healthy fats, your coconut oil, your avocados, your avocado oil, your healthy raw nuts and seeds. Those types of things. And if you're having animal protein, choosing good quality, hormone, antibiotic-free, grass-fed, grass-finished, because you aren't just like what you eat. It's you are what you eat eats, and what you don't digest, break down, and excrete out. So it really does matter when we're looking at the full spectrum of everything. And if you can start to eat in a way where you have a little bit of protein and a little bit of fat and a little bit of fiber at each of your meals, and maybe that afternoon snack, you're going to feel more satiated. You're going to feel your blood sugar is stable, your brain cognition will be here as opposed to all over the place, and you won't be peckish, constantly looking for your next latte, your next piece of chocolate, your something sweet, who brought something in the lunchroom, and constantly looking for that next little hit of energy, aka sugar, that's going to give you that feeling like you're doing okay. And so the next thing then is your schedule. You got to be really real about your schedule. If you know going into that period of time where you're going to be menstruating, you can't handle a lot. Like this is when you're going to lose your patience with your kids and your family. You're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to do a half-assed job at the things you need to get done. You have to start to be aware of this. And trust me, like I teach about this. I actually just had this conversation today saying that it always seems to happen that coming into my menstrual cycle, I'm doing all my creation. I'm filming. I have a big deadline, and I do find it overwhelming. But our cycles are cyclical, and the littlest thing can change and alter them. So as much as I want you to be aware of your schedule, I know that you can't totally overlap it and lay it out how your period is going to fall, because that can change from month to month. But what I mean by it is, what can you cancel? I had to cancel stuff yesterday in my life because I couldn't be me if I showed up to do those things because I didn't have it in me. And so you have to be able to cancel. You have to be able to go to bed earlier. You have to be able to just maybe not get the workout in that day. You know, I didn't do that yesterday. I didn't do the workout. I went for a walk outside instead, because if you're feeling like you are so pulled in all these different directions, how can you possibly think it's okay to pull one more thread on your body with intensity or with volume or ask for more tenacity? Like, it's just not okay. And you will feel it in a really negative way on the other side of things. So I was quiet yesterday. I didn't answer a lot of emails. I only did the things that really needed to get done. And you also have to realize that you're training the other people in your life how to respond and to treat you as well too. So if you're the person that gets back to everything all the time, right away, there's no pause, there's no time for reflection, you're letting other people know that you're always there. You're like a heartbeat away. And there are times where that's important and necessary. Like again, I get it, I run a business. There are times where I have to get back to it right away. And then there's other times where you can just create a bigger pause and you can just like take a break, even wait an hour, a couple of hours. Okay, so that's what I'm saying when I want you to start to look at your schedule is where can you just start to open things up a little bit so it doesn't always feel so tight and compact. And for those of you that are entrepreneurs, because a lot of you are in our community, sometimes this also means you have to say no to revenue. You have to say no to that new client that wants to work with you, to that next new job. Trust me, I get it. I don't work, I don't earn an income. So I understand that there's fear associated with that. But if you are feeling overwhelmed and unwell, you can't have it both ways. And trust me, that money at the end of the day is not going to make you feel any better. So make sure that you're choosing that in a way that resonates and feels good for you. The next one is sleep. Okay, like any one of these things I've just talked about, if you start to do them, not even all of them, I mean, all of them is amazing, but even if you did one of them, I guarantee you your sleep is going to improve. So how we start our day and how we end our day, this like bookend effect really truly matters. So get your phone away from the side of your bed. Can you plug it in the kitchen? Can you plug it into the bathroom? If it's gonna be next to your head, could you at least have it on airplane mode? Can you read like something that's made out of paper or write before you go to sleep? Can you just shut her down earlier? Like, could you go to bed at 10 o'clock every night? And if you're like, no, Jen, I can't, because right now I go to bed at midnight, and that sounds crazy to me. Well, then can you get into bed at 11:30? Like, can you just back it up a little bit? Lie there, converse with your partner, have sex, do something. Like, honestly, we think about that too. And I know as women, when you're in that PMS phase, the last thing you're thinking about is being intimate, but orgasms are super important to help to downregulate our nervous system and to provide us a huge hit of oxytocin and dopamine. Even just the connection of like cuddling and touching skin to skin, massive amounts of oxytocin. It's also gonna help to regulate your serotonin, which is a precursor for tryptophan, and melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. Can you, in my book, The Simplicity Project, I gave you this huge checklist. It's not huge, but I gave you a checklist of sleep. Is it light in your room? Get rid of the light. Make it dark, make it cool, sleep in as little clothing as possible, get rid of all of the electronics around you, those types of things just to help to get you into that better habit. Walk and yoga, I think, are the two best forms of exercise leading into your cycle. Now again, I am an active person. You follow me, you see all of my posts at the gym or coming at a CrossFit or doing a run or whatever. The week leading into my cycle, I unwind that completely and I cherry pick. If I see a workout is going to have things that are going to put more stress on my lower back and my hips and my pelvis, like a lot of squatting, a lot of lunging, any deadlifting, I don't do those things coming into my cycle because I know it's pulling another thread. I get outside in the fresh air. I do things that are cathartic for me. I listen to specific podcasts around that time that aren't actually making me have to think any harder, but are actually just like self-love and self-care podcast. I listen to music that makes me feel good. I go and do a yoga class. Sometimes I just lie on the ground. I use my Coregeous ball and my tune-up balls. I actually, in that week before my period, just wake up and say, what do I feel like doing? What do I feel like doing? And so every day I move, but I'm not frenetic about it. It doesn't have to be like this. Okay, and then nutrients. So here's some of the key nutrients that I would recommend. Now, my foundational 5 doesn't change no matter what day of the week it is. Those foundational 5 are your omega-3, your vitamin D, a probiotic as long as you don't have SIBO. And if you do, and you know you have SIBO, you are most likely working with a practitioner and coming up with another solution for your gut, your microbiome. And then your magnesium and your whole food complex, which for us is Juice Plus, or a really healthy, good quality greens powder, like one of the ones that Genuine Health creates. So those are the foundationals to help to get you just to that place every day of feeling good. when you're coming into your cycle, you need additional magnesium, ladies, especially if your bowels get drier and tighter, meaning you're not going as much. And if constipation is your issue, I recommend a magnesium citrate before you go to bed. So Calms is a really good one. It's very easy to take. It's just a powder. And you would do that at night. You need additional B vitamins. And actually, before I say the B vitamins, with the magnesium, start with about 400 milligrams. 400 to 800 milligrams tends to be that sweet spot leading into the cycle that can help your cramps, your headaches, your mood, your energy, get you into sleep, and help the bowels regulate themselves. Then a good quality B complex that is a methyl form. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you're using really good quality companies and good integrity. So Genestra is very good, AOR, Thorne, Douglas Laboratories. Perhaps you work with a practitioner who formulates and customizes their own. But getting those B vitamins in, your ladies, your adrenals and your nervous system they use up those Bs all the time, but coming into your period, even more so. And if you were on the pill for a long period of time, if you're on the pill now, you need that B complex every single day to help to restore that in your system. The other thing is evening primrose oil is wonderful to take in the latter half of your cycle. So you can go onto my website for free and download my cycle syncing workbook. And I talk to you about seed cycling in your first half and your second half to help to mitigate a lot of these symptoms that we feel and to have a regular cycle. The second half of your cycle is where we're supporting our progesterone. And so this is things like sunflower seed, sesame seed, and evening primrose oil. So having that leading up to your cycle can help to decrease symptoms, especially like the breast tenderness and some of the uterine cramping that you might have that's going on. And then the other thing would be something like Estro Smart by Lorna Vanderhaeg. And if you have a lot of the PMS symptoms, the Estro Smart Plus. So there's a regular and then there's a plus. The reason I would recommend the plus for the PMS is because you're going to get Vitex, that chasteberry, which is really good at being able to help to create this balance and homeostasis with your estrogen and progesterone. And then the final step or tip that I would give you is essential oils. So I use doTERRA. I love their Clary Calm, which is in a roller balm or in the actual bottle itself. Lavender, which is very tonal. Things like cheer or wild orange and peppermint to help to elevate and to kind of pick you up, or some of the more grounding ones like Balance, Douglas fir, those types. So I hope that has given you a little bit more kind of info on some of the lifestyle things that you can do to help to mitigate some of those PMS symptoms. If you have any questions about anything that I have talked about, please let me know by responding to this email or posting in the comments below. Here's to wishing you a smooth sailing next premenstrual phase leading into your cycle. And as always, wishing you more simplicity and more ease in all that you do. Have a great day.